Okay, today we're putting together a trampoline. This is from Propel Trampolines. It's got a basketball hoop feature and also a mister, as in water mist. So maybe that'll be fun. Let's see what this one's all about here. Okay, we've got all of our pieces out of the box. You've noticed I've added a mallet. That was not included. I just grabbed that from the garage. We may need that in some of the frame assembly. All right, let's start with these poles. We're gonna grab 2 poles and one of each kind of these T-brackets. One A-type, one B-type. Okay, so we'll come over here to put these together. With the curved pole, we want the holes facing down. All right, so there we go, holes facing down. One end, it's this one here, is a little bit larger than the other end. The large end is where all of these brackets are gonna go. Whether it's an A or a B, it always goes on the larger end of the pole. So we'll go ahead and grab an A bracket. Now the A bracket has a hole on this side here. That hole you want going towards the outside of the trampoline, outside of the curve. And that's gonna go on like this. And then we'll use the mallet to make sure it goes on all the way. Very nice. You see how far on that goes? Kind of where the pole starts changing shape a little bit. It'll go all the way up to there. All right, so we're gonna do this with all these perimeter poles and the A and B type brackets. So we'll just place all of these out here. And remember, it's always on the larger end of the pole you put the bracket, whether it's an A or a B. So just use them all up until they're all on. Okay, this one is the B type bracket. So again, the pole is gonna be in the same direction. The curve the same way, all right? And on the B-type bracket, again, that hole comes to the outside of the curve of the pole, all right? And then you have that capped piece there going towards the inside. All right, now we're gonna grab some leg poles. And then you grab the curved pole, okay? So here's how this part works. You're gonna get one of these perimeter poles that we worked on. We'll use one with an A bracket on it, and then one with a B bracket on it. The B bracket, that one attaches to the end of this one. Just making sure that's on all the way. Okay, that one's on all the way, now this one. Yeah, that goes fine. Just wiggle that angle until it goes in nice. Okay, so from here, so you've got your B bracket and A bracket. You're gonna get the leg pulls. All right, just go whichever way it fits. Doesn't fit that way, we're doing it this way. Line up the holes for later. One there. And one here. Line up the holes. Okay. Now we put this one on, and again, we're gonna line up the holes. Wiggle it till it sits in there. Okay, that's good for now. We can adjust later if we need to line up a hole. Looks like we will need to, but we'll get to that in a minute. We'll go ahead and do the rest of the perimeter now. Okay, so we got almost all those legs on. I happened to be the last one by coincidence, but this last perimeter pole didn't want to go on there. So I'm just gonna first take the bracket off here and use a pair of pliers to see if I can't straighten that out a bit. Yeah, so right there, that's a dent, kind of a divot. Shouldn't be there, so I'm gonna see if I can lift that up. That might do it, that might be enough. Got it. Took a little work. There we go. Okay, now we want to find the bag here and get the frame screws out. And these are Phillips head screws, so I grabbed a Phillips screwdriver from the garage. So we're coming over here to the frame assembly. And all those holes from the brackets and the leg poles, we're gonna put a screw in each one going all the way around. All right, so on some of these, the screw has a hard time going in. For some reason on the upper one on the left, on both times it happened, not sure why. But the threads on the screw are catching on the outside of the pole a little bit. So I just have to really push down right here to get the inside hole to line up a little bit better and allow this screw to go down a little bit more. And that really helped to get a couple of these in that were more difficult. So if it's not quite going, really put a lot of weight here. And as you're pushing down, screw that in. Okay, next we have the enclosure poles. You notice some of these are S-shaped, or curved, whatever you want to call that. And then some of them are straight. So you're matching straight ones with the curved ones. And you line up the holes. And you got to look for the right holes to match up. So you want that tapered end of a straight piece. And you want this end of a curved piece. The other end of the curved piece has a cap on it. So you do not want the capped end. All right, so those two are gonna go together. I'll put the camera down and I'll line up the holes. All right, there we go. So line up those holes. There they are. And the instructions want us to do this now, but then we're going to, we'll put a screw in there as well, but then we're gonna just set these aside and save them for later. So go ahead and hook all those up, straight ones to curved ones, the tapered end, and the end without a cap. Those are the ones that go together. Let's find the screw and put it in. All right, so we're gonna get this other packet of screws out. The instruction manual didn't say which exactly screw we're supposed to use, but I'm pretty sure it's the short ones in here. And then slide the foam over the screw. All right, time to turn it over.
Ready, set.
Push it over. Work, people. That's it. Try not to let these bend too much. Jonathan's gonna lift these up. Good.
Woohoo! Good job, guys.
Okay, now we're getting the jump mat. Grab that and go ahead and put it over to the middle of the trampoline frame. We're gonna unroll it and unwrap it all. Spread it all out. And they want the warning signs to be facing up, so you can be nice and safe and remember the warnings as you're having a good old time jumping on this trampoline. All right, it's time to get the springs. Go ahead and grab a handful of those. Coming over here to the frame. Oh, also, by the way, get the spring puller. Here, let me show you. Spring puller's in here, and looks like this. Okay, so on the frame, you want to first grab the mat, actually. Okay, grab one of those rings on the mat. On your spring, you have a shorter end and a longer end. Put the shorter end into the mat. Longer end into the frame. Now, the instructions are to put it in the frame to the right of a T bracket, okay? And that's it for now, just that one, okay? We'll do other ones later. So now what you gotta do is you gotta count these rings in the mat, one ring for each hole in the frame. Count it, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now on the 9th one, now we can put another spring. Okay, so we're only putting springs to the right of T brackets. Count the rings on the mat, hook it to the springs. You can do it by hand until you get towards the last ones, and then you might want the spring puller. And as you get more and more springs in, you're going to be using the spring puller more and more. But here's the puller. I'm just putting it on the ring of the mat, and I'm pulling it this way. It may be as we go around that we may end up pulling on the springs instead. All right, that was not easy. All right, so this has gotten pretty difficult. We're doing this at the end of the day. The sun is setting right now. Maybe if it were hotter, this might stretch a little more. I'm not sure, but I'm telling you, this is tough. So just using the one spring puller, I could not get these to attach. So we actually have a spring puller from our last trampoline. So we're actually using 2 spring pullers. Ready, set, go. This does get difficult. I don't know how one person can do it by themselves, but who knows? Maybe they got more strength, better technique than us. Here we go, teamwork. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, got it.
Woohoo! Okay, now we're getting the net enclosure. So go ahead and grab that and just toss it on top of the mat. So we got the net. Kind of tossed it a little more in the middle than I thought we would. I don't know how we're gonna get it. Good, from underneath. Okay. So yeah, you don't want to lose it in the middle.
Oh, got it.
All right, so let's spread this thing out. And the zipper and the warning labels, the warning label goes to the outside of the trampoline. So there is our warning label and our zipper. This is where we're going to enter the trampoline from the sidewalk here, so that's where we want it. Okay, we're grabbing these bungee cords with the screws. All right, so we got the bungee with the bolt on it. They want the bolt next to these right here, and then kind of squeeze that up and squeeze it down. This is the top of the net, okay? This is the top part of the net. So you squeeze that down in there, and then bring it back up over the bolt, and pull that bolt through. And it ends up about like that. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing with those bungees and bolts all the way around the net. All right, so now in this bag, we've got some other nuts and bolts. I'm gonna grab all these nuts, 6 of them. All right, so we're gonna take the the, bolt that's on the bungee. Then grab one of those nuts. When you stand the pole up, nut, bolt on this side, nut on this side, that's the outside of the trampoline, comes down like this and then curves to the inside and goes down. Okay, so that's how you know you got on the right direction. And go all the way around with all these poles for the net enclosure. Then we will put the poles up and into the frame. As you put this in, the holes go on the sides here. All right, so now we've got another spring. We're going on the left side of the T-brackets this time. The sun is setting on us, so I've got the flash on the camera. Hopefully this lighting all works out. The way this particular trampoline model works is you take the spring here and you put it right through the enclosure net. You can kind of see on the enclosure net, it's kind of darker here. You've got, you know, darker at the bottom and then it's lighter. So kind of go right in the middle of that dark section towards the bottom. Just hook that short end of the spring in there, then put it on to the ring for the mat, and then it's going to come here to the frame, and you got to use the spring puller. Once you do that, you got to come over here to this side, to this one, and I want you to undo the spring on this one. Okay, so just undo it from the frame first, that's easier, and then off here. Okay, get your net kind of stretched out, put that spring through the net, back through the ring on the mat, spring puller, back in the frame, and you're good there. Okay, so that's the idea. Do that at every pole, both the new spring on the left and then redo the one on the right, having them hook through the net all the way around. Okay, next up is to put a spring on the right side of whatever two springs you start with, doesn't matter which. But from here on out, we just need to get the rest of the springs on. So you're gonna hook each spring into the net like that. Use the spring puller. Remember, it's the short hook into the net, longer hook into the frame, and go on the right side of what's already there. That's good right there. Just gotta go ahead and pull that out and then push down. Okay, and now you just go to the next one, and then you do the right side of that, and then the right side of that, right side, all the way around, and then keep repeating. So we'll come back here, we'll do that one, and then again until all the springs are in place. Okay, we have all the springs in all the way around. Now the next step is to put the spring pad cover on. What the instructions want us to do here is remove the net poles. Okay, remove the net poles and just lay them flat onto the towards the center of the trampoline. Why they had us put the net poles on in the first place, if we're just going to take them out like this, well, that's because we needed to put the springs through the net into the rings for the mat, so that's why it had to be up already. All right, now grab the pad cover. You have these holes where the poles are going to go through, so that hole is going to have to be by this pole, and that puts the logo a little bit to the left of the zipper. You're looking for a loop on the underside, okay, a loop like this. Now what this has to do is the spring here has to be removed. Just remove it from the frame, spring out, spring back through this loop here, and then back onto the frame. And we'll do that all the way around where all of the loops are under the pad. And there is a pattern to where these loops are, by the way. There's gonna be a loop on the left side of every leg section. Okay, now we put the net poles back in, and then when you put them through the hole in the pad, and then into the hole in the B-type brackets. Okay, we got all the poles back up with the net. Now we want to find these longer bolts, and we're gonna use those nuts again. These should have 6 bolts, and then grab a nut for each one to match. I actually only have 5 bolts because as we were putting things here and there, I've got my AC unit outside here. Guess what? I totally dropped a bolt down inside there. There's the bolt right under that white package thing on towards the right side. Wow, all sorts of good stuff in there. Trash from lollipops, trash from an otter pop, a pen, 3 bubble wands. Oh my. I think we should do comments below on what's in your AC unit outside. How about it? Comment below, please. Let us all know. Let's see what everyone's dropped down, or your kids have dropped down in your outside AC unit. Okay, well, on with the trampoline. One of our poles won't have a bolt. Okay, so here we are underneath. Put a bolt into the hole there. Look for it on the other side. There it is. So it's not quite coming through all the way. I have to just wiggle the pole a little bit to get it to sink in the rest of the way. There, I did it. And now the nut on the other side. And then it's a Phillips screwdriver on this side and a 10mm wrench, crescent wrench, adjustable, whatever you have on that side, and tighten them up. Okay, if you want to use these are stakes with the straps that would hook onto the frame, and the idea here is it's kind of like a tent stake to prevent your trampoline maybe from blowing away or getting knocked over, or I don't know what. So we're actually not going to use these, but I'll show you how one of them hooks up in case you want to do it. So you get your strap here with these, what do you call these, buckles? And you want the buckles facing up here. Run the strap through the frame on the back side, out the front, and you're going to squeeze in that strap on that top buckle, through the one side, down the other. Okay, same on the lower buckle. You come in here from the bottom, out to the top side, and then from the top down to through the bottom. Okay, and then you take what's left there and run it back through the top side of the lower buckle. Pull that through, pull it tight, and that's good. Okay. You can adjust the tightness of that in a second. The instructions actually say to do that after you do the stake, but since I'm not doing it permanently, I'll just show you like this. Put it here at about a 45-degree angle, and you would get a mallet. Get a mallet and just hammer this thing into the ground, and hammer it all the way so that the top of the stake here is all the way flush with the ground. Okay? Okay, next up is the Jump and Jam trampoline basketball hoop. All right, this is the highlight. Kids haven't had this before. They can't wait. Let's see how to do this. All right, first thing is to get the net and the rim and hook those together. All right, so the loops that are biggest, which looks like it should be the red ones. The red ones are going to hook into the rim. You got it, just like that. We'll do those all the way around. And if you're wondering, the rim should be going this way. You have the smooth side of the rim on the top. It's the side with holes, that would be the bottom. So since that's the top, that means your net loops in like that over the top there. And the net is ready. Next up is the backboard mat here. Just go ahead and unfold that all the way out. Okay, and then we want to find the pole supports. We happen to have them over here. Short ones and long ones. Okay, so go ahead and turn over the backboard mat. Okay, from the angle we're looking at it here, you can see the logo is on the opposite side up there, okay? So in this position, the short poles are gonna go from here to here, one there, and another short pole from there to there. One end of the pole has the black cover on it. That one's gonna stay to the outside, okay? So get the end with no black cover, feed that one through first, feed it through far enough, so that the other one can then be inserted into that position. Same on the other side. And it's going to go in this position here, so the smooth top part of the rim facing like that. Okay, and you can see the holes here for the short poles there, and then the longer poles are going to go there. Alright, so one of them is in now, and then takes just a little bit of strength and stretching to get the other one in that side. Now the long poles. The capped end into here first. Okay, that's ready. We're gonna put it on this pole right here. So what we've done is we took the bolt and the nut out from underneath. Yep, we just undid it from before. So we took it out, and now we're gonna lift this pole up and out and lean it towards the inside of the trampoline. I'll get on the inside of the trampoline and we'll assemble it, the backstop to there. And take this piece with you. Well, that's one way to keep yourself out of the trampoline. We hooked one of the zipper straps with a spring hook, and now it's hooked in. Whoops, gotta undo that. Okay, so we're taking this bolt out, so undo the nut. That's out, okay. And then pull this cap off. Now you get this one, the end with the cap on it. Goes into here. Line up the holes, and the bolt goes back inside. Nut back on over here. Grab your basketball setup, pinch in on the sides here, goes right in. And now I'll put the pole back in. All right, once this is up, actually before you get out of the trampoline, grab the hook there and just hook it to the net. reattach the bolts and nut, and then you'll be good to go. Okay, last but not least, let's take a look at this mist sprayer, figure out how this works. Okay, so you've got a little filter right here. You're gonna put that to the inside of the hose connection and push it in. You got 4 zip ties. Just unravel this and we'll head up to the trampoline. Choose a pole that's closest to your garden hose connection or wherever you want your garden hose to attach to, and then we're gonna stand up on there. If you need a ladder, you'll need to get a ladder, but if you're tall enough to reach near the top, then that should work. So we're just gonna ravel it. I'll show you here in a second.
Order.
All right, so if you're gonna stand up here like this, just remember to stand on the edge of the frame. It's a little, not the most secure, so I can understand why they recommend a ladder, but whatever you choose to do, be safe. The mister here has the shiny part is where the water comes out of. You wanna put that up here and just point it to the center of the trampoline. And then take a zip tie and attach that there. Yeah, the zip tie just goes around the styrofoam. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 at the very bottom. Is it just me, or are zip ties satisfying? I'm telling you, zip ties are satisfying. How about a thumbs up below if you like zip ties too? Your hose hooks up here, and you're ready to go with the mister. Okay, if you haven't already, go ahead and pump up the basketball. The needle to the basketball is in the handle. Don't let it fall down your air conditioning unit. And there it is, all set up. Got the hose attached. The mister is going. It's hard to see, but it is going.